Hello, I'm Brian Mallard, and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Last week we had Jim Patrick in the studio, and this week we have Mr. John Phillips. So,
Hi.
John, how are you doing today?
I'm very well. It's a little early for me, but glad to be here.
Well, I'm very happy that you're here. So, tell me about your music.
Well, I've been playing music for a long time. I started playing in my dad's garage in Athens, Georgia when I was a kid, and Dad would have lots of friends over, and some of them wanted to play a lot of blues, and there was a Scottish entomology professor who wanted to play a lot of jazz and swing, and got into that, and I was in public school band. And then after high school, I went to the University of Georgia and studied music composition, and then transferred to Columbus State University and studied music education, and have been in Columbus ever since then. Didn't start writing my own material until a couple of years ago.
And good stuff, I've heard it. What brought you to Columbus from Athens?
Money, financial aid. Columbus State offered me more.
So you grew up in Athens?
I did.
That's cool. So tell me, you've played with a lot of different people around town. Who are you currently playing with?
Okay, let me see.
This
right
is gonna
now,
be a list.
I'm playing with Ophir Drive, and that's Sarah Jean and Austin Davis and John Edwards. And I'm playing with the Shady Branches, Jenny Woolfolk and Dan Davidson, and with Joey Alcorn and his band, which is always different. And the Fiddlers Blues Band, Stan Edwards, Marcia Short, Brett Short, David Hadley. And I host open mic at Fountain City Coffee on Thursday evenings at 7. And I host Random Band Jam once a month at Chops Roadhouse on the corner of Broad and 11th. The next one will be February the 16th.
It's a lot of fun.
And who else am I playing with right now? Just sitting in with anybody I can. I play with Henry out at the Dell Ranch, and I play with you.
Yep.
And with anybody else who will let me near a stage.
Well, that's cool, and most people will let him near a stage. So, what are your favorite types of music?
Well, I'm a jazz player at heart, and that's the music that I listen to when I'm sitting at home listening to music, which is not often. But I grew up listening to REM and B-52s and Athens bands, and going out and seeing shows at clubs around town. But before that, I was listening to Paul Simon and a lot of like Elvis Costello kind of new wave rock and roll.
Cool.
It was fun.
So those are your influences. Those are like, if you are sitting at home in an evening and you're listening to somebody, who are you most likely to be sitting there listening to?
That really depends on the day and time, I think. There are a few that I'll always come back to, and they're mostly jazz singers. I'll listen to Louis Armstrong, or if I'm in the mood for something slower, I'll listen to a ballad singer like Stacey Kent. Or
Cool. What keeps you motivated to play music? I mean, you grew up listening to the garage bands, and when did you know that that's what you wanted to do?
I don't know. I've kind of always known that was what I wanted to do. I banged on pots and pans when I was a kid, and always wanted to play drums. Drums. I got to 6th grade and joined the band and took the instrument test and walked into the room and said, "Give me the drum test." And I said, "You want to try the trumpet? No. You want to try this? No. Give me the drum test."
And you've been playing drums ever since?
And I did that, and then I just haven't done anything else.
So Brian here has asked me to do a magic trick, and I was reminded of a story from when I was doing a lot of magic tricks. And I was in Fountain City Coffee in Columbus, Georgia. I was in line. This was a couple years ago. I was in line to get a smoothie at lunch, and I was doing a magic trick for the barista. I was seeing if I could get one of those cute girls that worked there to give me a smoothie. And while I was in line, I was doing a magic trick for the girl, and it was just a standard magic trick. Just pick a card, any card. Brian Mallard is going to be my assistant. He is impersonating a lovely Fountain City barista. And memorize what it is and show the camera. And while this was happening, this was during lunch break, and there were some people in line behind me, and there was one fellow in particular who kept checking his watch and was getting kind of impatient. But I kept going into the trick just because I really wanted a smoothie and was out of ready cash at the time. So I continued with the trick. I said, put the card back anywhere you like. Okay, right there is good. And then as the trick progressed, I had a series of flashy moves that I was going to do. I had some shuffles. I was going to shuffle the deck, and I was explaining to the barista what I was doing. And I was saying, look, I'm shuffling, I'm cutting, I'm doing this and doing that. And your card is now lost in the deck. And I put it down and started to tell a story. This was a different trick, so I was starting to tell a story. And the fellow behind me, I think at that point, he just snapped. I think he was tired of waiting, really wanted to get his sandwich and get back to work. He was tired, so I saw this hand come up behind me while I was talking and grab the deck of cards and disappear. And I turned around, and what I saw was this. I saw him go, all right. Find her card now. And he handed me this, which is a mess. It's a stack of mixed up cards. There are some that are face up, there are some that are face down, there are some that are back to back, there are some that are side to side, and I thought it was going to be a disaster, but I remembered a move that my teacher told me that's a very old move. It's about 150 years old at least. It may go back before that. Houdini wrote about it in one of his books in the 20s, and I remembered when my teacher showed it to me many years ago, and it looks like this. You take your messed up deck of cards, and there, it's already done. And right here, the only card left face up in the middle of the deck is your card, the Eight of Hearts.